Hi guys, it's me, your friend Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to Kendall Hates Horror! Yeah.
Warning, some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing.
Welcome to my world, bitch. Kendall hates horror.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I'm so fucking scared right now.
Okay, so I could kind of tell. Nah, because that's just fucking... Anyway, I passed out when we got to Wichita. Fucking ate shit.
Yeah, like you were revving at a high. Your engine was revving high from the anxiety from flying.
I took a Zyrtec.
Yep.
Took some of those pills. Took like 6 ibuprofen for some reason.
Yeah.
And something else. Anyway, I had like all those pills, and then the eating was not an option. Like no, fuck no. So we're flying. And I was playing this game on my phone the whole time to kind of keep my focus
from not
flipping the fuck out.
Yeah, and trying to open the door while you're in the air.
Yeah. So I'm playing this game or whatever. Finally, I'd like beat it like 6 times. So I was
You're
like,
still playing it.
Yeah, still playing it. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. So I just start looking through old pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was I finally got to this one, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, it's something Brandon sent me. And it was a picture of one of our zebra things at work, and it was just like we got scratched on something. So I'm like, why the fuck do I have that in there? And she goes, what is that? And I'm like, it's just a picture. Like, she's like, what the fuck is it? And I'm like, why the fuck are you coming at me all crazy? What the hell? What is wrong? And so we started kind of going at it a little bit.
Yeah.
So then she told me she's not talking to me the rest of the time. So
Good.
I was like, well, if it's going to be like that, then
Don't threaten me with a good
don't
time.
want to. Didn't want to anyway. So she's ignoring me, all this shit. And now I'm drinking fucking 6 shots of fucking vodka on all this medication, no food, high elevation, low elevation, high elevation.
Yeah.
We get back to Wichita. So we're sitting in the baggage claim. And they hadn't even turned the thing on yet to get the bags. And she's like, still got her attitude or whatever. And she's like, I'm going to go smoke. And I was like, oh, great idea. I haven't smoked in like 6 hours. So I go out there with her, and she's sitting on one of the benches outside the airport.
Yeah.
And I sit down, and I'm like, all right, can we squash this? Can we just be
Whatever
done?
Whatever beef is going on.
Yeah, let's just... So she starts telling me how it bothered her, right? And I'm like, wait. If there's not a point where you're going to tell me what you fucked up, then I'm not owning up to anything I fucked up. I'm just not doing that. And so she starts talking again. Well, at that point, I get my e-cig out, and I just take a fucking huge rip off of it. Like, I hadn't smoked 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I just went through all this fucking traumatic shit. So I take this big rip off my e-cig, and when I blow it out, she's yelling at me, but it starts kind of turning into Charlie Brown's teacher, right? Womp, 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 womp. And I tell her, I'm like, hold up, I'm not feeling real good. And she didn't even acknowledge what I had said, right? So I'm like, hold up. And I tried to say it again. Boom. I just went out. Next thing I remember, I'm waking up on the first thing I feel is like the cold concrete on my cheek. And
Jesus.
and she's going, babe, get up. babe, are you okay? Like she's still pissed off at me. But
You
she's
think
trying,
that you think
but she's trying to go from like 1,000 pissed off to concerned.
Do you think that you passing out on the sidewalk is going to get you out of this? This is bullshit.
Yeah, I bet when you fell over, she was like, "This motherfucker's faking passing out so he doesn't have to listen to me."
This is like when you jumped out of the car. You're faking it.
God.
No, dude, I fucking just ate shit, and I'm like, hold up, dude, hold up. And I like sat up there for a minute, and I'm looking up, and people are like, is he all right? She's like, yeah, he's fine.
She has no idea if you're
She
fine
has
or
no
not.
clue.
Like, she hasn't taken any kind of like, she hasn't checked your pulse or anything like that. It's just, yep, he's fine. He's faking
good.
it.
He's good. Carry on.
He does his shit every night.
He's being a fucking baby.
What a fucking child. Oh my God.
So I got my shit together, and I kind of fucking like
Crawled
like
back into the terminal to get your bag.
I had Bambi legs, like trying, like pulling myself up on the bench, like.
God.
Went and got my shit and left.
So in case anybody else is wondering, that is what marital bliss is like.
We're fine now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're fine. Yeah. It's fine.
We were in real good spirits after that. It actually got me out of the argument.
Oh gosh, I would fucking.
It
hope
wasn't
so.
intentional, but it did get me out of the argument.
I had a stroke, and she forgot that she was mad at me.
She
is what
finally
happened.
forgave me because of my medical issue.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Kendall Hates Horror. I'm your host Grant. I'm sitting across the table from our horror expert and dream warrior, Evan.
That's the wrong fucking movie.
I know I couldn't think of anything I couldn't think of anything better to say for this movie.
Jesus.
And over to my left, fresh off of his $5 handies at Fleet Week in New York City, giving them out, our good friend Kendall.
Salutations, everyone.
I mean, Dreamweaver was right there.
He's still pissed off about that.
God.
Grant, fake passing out real quick. Look, it works.
It works. He forgot about it. And sitting over to my right, back by popular demand, and by popular demand I mean a couple of the people at our table, is our friend Shane. We would say popular demand, but nobody actually comments or reviews our thing.
Nobody listens
They
to this
just
show.
they just give us 5 stars on Apple and say,
It's
yeah,
just
it's
for
good
fun.
enough. Yeah.
I just call this
7 people.
I call this
5 stars on Apple.
seven people.
I call this a passion project because
I have the passion.
That makes me feel better.
Cute.
Yeah.
Today we have another heavy hitter. Man, this is two heavy hitters in 3 weeks. This is awesome. One of the reasons why we had Shane come on is because this is one of Shane's favorite horror villains of all time.
Freddy is my absolute favorite.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Not mine.
You don't know that yet.
I can guarantee it won't be.
You don't know that yet. We're doing 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 1.
Yay.
Woo! Yeah, so basically, a little synopsis of this movie. Basically, some teenagers. Let's be real, it's a fucking slasher movie. It's teenagers.
It's teenagers.
It's always teenagers. Are terrorized by something in their dreams. That's all I have to say.
Sounds terrifying. Can we do what I asked you earlier? And let's just have a double feature with Nemo and Finding Dory.
No.
All right.
Okay. This was the first I heard about it. I might have said yes if you'd asked me, but
And it
Grant, can we do Finding Nemo?
No, it's too late now.
it directed
It's like being on the airplane again.
directed by Wes Craven, the great Wes Craven.
The late
This
great
is the
Wes
first
Craven.
Wes Craven movie we've done.
I was reading about this movie, and he also directed the Scream movies.
Yes.
Yep.
He directed 4 of them.
I'm real excited now.
Yeah. The late great Wes Craven.
Yeah. Notably, well known for Last House on the Left, which was his first film, I believe. And then
Which was like 1976, 70.
yeah, it was like
70?
70. It might have been 74, 75.
74?
And then he does Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, which is
He has
fantastic.
a pretty downturn in his career. He makes a great film, but it was badly reviewed and didn't make any money at the box office, but he directs Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is a fantastic movie with Adrian Barbeau. It has since become like a cult classic and stuff like that, and people really see it as like it's like the.
It was 72.
72.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a lot earlier than that. But Swamp Thing is kind of seen as like that's the best adaptation of that comic series. Is that?
Yeah, this
film.
is the one with Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah. And then he kind of has a downturn, and he comes up with the idea for this movie, which it's very interesting how he came up with the idea for this movie. Basically, he had read a bunch of articles in L.A. about Cambodian, Laotian, and
specifically the Hmong people.
Yeah, the Hmong people from Laos that were coming over here after the Vietnam War and a bunch of the civil wars that were breaking out in Laos.
Like Pol Pot kind of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of them were mysteriously dying in their sleep. And he noticed that there was things in the article about how they were trying to stay awake. They were using alarm clocks to stop themselves from going into like deep sleep or to keep them awake completely.
What the fuck killed them?
Nobody knows.
They find out that their heart stopped in their sleep.
I can't. There was a professor from like University of California, like San Francisco. I can't remember her name. I apologize for not remembering her name. But she did an entire study on this, and pretty much she has no other explanation than they died from sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Other than that, she doesn't know at all. But they found coffee pots in their closets where they were trying to stay. Where they found no-dos, empty packets of no-dos everywhere. And Wes Craven read this script and he read this article and he was like, "Yeah, that's my next movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a movie about a guy that kills you in your sleep."
Yeah,
that's the most terrifying shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, this movie single-handedly saved New Line Cinema.
It created New Line Cinema. New
Line Cinema existed before Freddy. It just was about to go bankrupt, and then Nightmare came out, and it saved New Line Cinema. That's why it's the
house that Freddy built.
The house that Freddy built.
Yeah. Robert Shea was like the head of New Line Cinema. He makes an appearance. He makes 2 appearances in this movie.
Yep.
His sister wife, Lynn Shea. That his wife.
That's his wife.
Yeah, she also makes an appearance in this movie because she's the teacher.
Yeah.
And when Nancy's in class, but he pretty much ran New Line Cinema for like 30 fucking years.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, he was there forever, and he's kind of like him and Wes Craven are kind of the godfathers of Freddy Krueger. Like he pushed this movie to being made. A lot of the executives were against making this movie because they were like, "Well, just make a regular slasher because those sell.
Yeah.
Why are you making this weird shit?"
We don't need a slasher in dreams. Yeah. Which this movie wouldn't have been as good if it didn't have the same plot that it does, like the slasher in your dreams type of thing.
But like cast wise, we're looking at, in my opinion,
mostly virtually unknowns, even to this day.
Johnny Depp was the only person that was kind of known.
No, this was his very first film.
This was his breakout.
Very first one.
Yep.
Yeah, he was doing 21 Jump Street before that, wasn't he?
Nope. 21 Jump Street didn't come out till
85
or 86.
He was 21 years old. This was his debut.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's listed as introducing Johnny Depp. So, hopefully this kid makes something of himself later on in life. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years after this, he does Platoon.
Yeah.
I mean, and then 21 Jump Street was in 87. That's when he started that show. And that's when he became like a big
household name.
Him and Grieco were fucking gigantic from that show. Yeah. But it also stars Heather Langenkamp.
Which is, I think, is all of our favorite final girls.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
It's a 1A, 1B, her and Sydney are my 2 favorites. Of course, Wes Craven wrote both of those parts.
Yeah.
Because he just makes fucking awesome final girls. That's just what he do. But yeah, Johnny Depp. We also have Amanda. Is it Weiss or Weiss? Weiss?
I thought it was Wynn.
No, it has an S in it. Yeah, Amanda Weiss, who plays Tina.
Yeah.
Who's Nancy's best friend. Mm-hmm. Her Nick Corey, who plays her shitty boyfriend Rod.
Yeah, he's really he's a fucking terrible character.
the great John Saxon as Nancy's father.
Yeah.
Love John Saxon.
John Saxon fucking rules.
He's gonna go up on the wall of fame for shitty cops, for asshole cops.
He plays two of them.
He plays two of them.
Because he plays a cop in this one and a cop in Black Christmas.
Yep.
And he sucks in both of them.
Yep.
He's and also for Nightmare 3 because he's around there.
Yeah.
And then we also have Ronnie Blakely who plays Nancy's mother.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
her performance in this movie is so weird.
it is strange.
It's very strange. You'll see.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can't forget the great
Johnny Depp. We talked about him.
Robert Englund.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Robert Englund. Some of the stuff that he does in this movie is so fucking cool. And basically, the entire reason that Wes Craven came up with this character is because when he was a kid, he would wake up at night, and there was one time when he woke up and he looked out his window, and there was a dude just standing there, just staring at him. And he was wearing a hat and a sweater.
And a Christmas sweater.
Yeah. And that's where he came up with Freddy Krueger. That is the scariest shit I can ever think of. Like being a kid and just looking out your window and having some dude just look at you.
He made that shit up.
So Shane, tell me, why is Freddy? Is he your favorite, or do you have like a 1A, 1B?
No, he's my favorite.
Why is he your favorite?
Well, I'm the older guy of the bunch.
Yeah, we've established.
So I actually seen this movie when it came out in the theaters with my two best friends at the time, Wesley and Jason. And by this time, I was probably about 5-6 years into being a horror movie fan.
I thought you were going to say you were like 5 or 6. And I was like, good Lord.
No, when it came out, I was
6.
I was 13.
I was 6 when it came out.
I was a -2.
When did it come out?
84.
84.
Yeah.
And still,
I was -5.
And for me, what is still the greatest year in movies, 84 was.
It's pretty good.
Oh my God.
There were a lot of good
amazing.
ones, yeah.
Pretty good.
So many great movies came out in 84. But we went and seen it because we were all. Jason, he was the youngest of us three. He was not as big into horror as me and Wesley were, but he went and seen it with us. He's seen some of it because he had his eyes covered a lot of the times because I kept poking Wesley when we were in the theater. I was like, look at him. He's got his eyes covered.
The movie's fucking scary, dude.
So, but anyway, like Evan was talking about earlier, most movies, just like they wanted to do when they told him to make it, why would you do that? Just make it a regular slasher pick. This was totally off script. It was something totally different. It was mind-blowing. Now, this is back in 84, but the effects in the movie
are so good.
Are fantastic for 1984 because effects weren't really used in horror movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Horror movies were just slashers and people running around and this and that or whatever. They just weren't effects.
When we come back down, we can talk about some of the effects. Some of them aren't great, but most of them are good.
Yeah, most of them.
I mean, it wasn't like I can't remember the effects artist's name, but it wasn't like when they got Screaming Mad George when he did the effects for Dream Master and Dream Child.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, not as good of a movie as like the original is, but the effects in those movies fucking rule.
Yeah. But you got to think, in 84, I mean, especially in a horror movie, there wasn't effects used in horror movies.
Right.
They just didn't really need it. So this one had scenes that were just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And so that...
You're getting me real excited for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I don't want to say anything before we see the movie. So, but there's just certain scenes or whatever that were just, I mean, the prison scene, the jail scene when he goes and visits, was it Rod, right? Yeah. That scene was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty
mind-blowing.
I mean, there's some
as an early kid back in 1984, and stuff. So that movie, from a horror movie perspective, really just blew my mind, and I just fell in love with Freddy ever since then. After that, it was just fantastic.
I think if this movie doesn't get made and they don't take a chance on it being like this kind of supernatural slasher, this fantastical slasher, we don't get Child's Play. Child's Play doesn't happen without this.
We don't get Candyman.
We don't get Candyman. We don't get Hellraiser. These things don't happen without the success of Nightmare on Elm Street because they were able to say,
well, it doesn't have to be a slasher.
Well, it's a slasher. But
it doesn't have to be like a.
But it's different. Yeah. It's not this big hulking guy that's going to come after you. It's fuck. I'm not safe anywhere.
Yeah. What should be the safest thing for me to do, which is to take a damn nap, is now deadly.
Yeah, or a kid playing with a doll.
Kid
should
playing
be
with
the
a doll.
safest thing in the world, and it's the most dangerous thing you could ever do.
Yeah,
like
or getting a fucking puzzle
finding
box.
a puzzle box.
That doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't because he was looking for that puzzle box and he knew what he did.
Yeah,
fuck Frank.
Yeah,
Frank sucks.
We're gonna get there in a few weeks. You're fine.
Frank does suck.
Yeah, I guess the makeup artist, which his name was David B. Miller.
Yeah,
he designed all of the way Freddy looks, where he looks like a burn victim and stuff like that. And I guess he had looked at photographs from UCLA Medical University, and that's how he got it so well.
Yeah.
Originally, Robert Englund was not the first choice.
I read that.
Kruger. David Warner originally was the first choice.
Yeah,
which is fair.
He would have been great.
Well, David Warner was such a icon in horror because he was in The Omen.
Yeah.
He's a great British actor.
He's fantastic.
I always grew up with him. He was in Secret of the Use, the Ninja Turtles movie. Yeah. But also another person that almost played Freddy Krueger was Kane Hodder.
Yeah, I read that too, which is weird. It actually in I guess Kindle earmuffs. Well, never mind. It doesn't matter because we're never watching that fucking horrible ass movie. But in Jason Lives, the hand that comes up and grabs.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Freddy's
I was
Live.
going to say, wait a minute, Jason lived. Oh, no.
Jason Goes to Hell. The hand that comes up and grabs his mask is actually Kane Hodder's hand.
Kane Hodder has in reality has played 3 different slasher icons. He has played Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Leatherface because he did stunts on Leatherface.
Victor Crowley.
But he's played Leatherface because he did stunt work for Part 3. Yeah, because that's what he was. He was a stunt performer. That motherfucker has like 3rd-degree burns over his body.
You can actually see it on his neck. He was in the movie Frozen. I rewatched that. I guess I had already seen it because I already knew what was going to happen. I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I actually have already seen this. But I watched.
Did he play Elsa or Anna or?
No, he's
Hans?
Sven. He was Sven.
He was Sven.
He was Sven.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Olaf.
Yeah. No, Frozen is awesome.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Not that one.
You wouldn't like the new one.
I like the sequel too.
You wouldn't like the one.
Got
we're talking about.
Sean Ashmore.
Sean Ashmore, and then Emma Bell is the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I decided Kendall needs a better view of he has not seen the trailer yet. So
for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. It should be loud enough.
And by the way, this soundtrack for this movie fucking rules.
Here we go.
The score of this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you cannot watch this if you're under 17.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the only way we got in was because the stepdad of what's his name, Jason or whatever, he just walked us up there and goes, yeah, I need 3 tickets for them to go see that movie.
Oh, fuck this. Hell no. She's crawling around on the ceiling.
Fuck yes.
Did you do it? There was somebody else there. He was locked in a room with a girl who went in alive and came out.
John Saxon.
I love John Saxon.
Nancy? Nope. Something wrong with you. You're imagining.
Yeah. That's the one thing that infuriated me was the fact that her mom just kept the lie alive and alive and alive instead of just coming out right at the beginning and was like, oh yeah, no, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Good Lord. He just got sucked into the bed with his TV. Oh God, something just licked him.
You're describing stuff, and I know what it is.
Yeah.
house on the left. Just keep repeating to yourself, it's only a movie. It's only a movie.
And
it's only a movie.
And that's
if you have to do that, why watch it?
That's a great.
That's the tagline for Last House on the Left.
That's a great prologue for the guy to say too, a fantasy masterpiece. Because boy, was he right? Because that's what it turned into.
So what you think?
Yeah,
That looks scary as fuck.
So you're telling me that the scary meter that you went and looked up online lied to you again?
It's bullshit. Because you said, like, well, the people said this movie isn't scary. Like, fuck off, it isn't scary.
Well, maybe in this day and age with, like, the youngsters that are watching these kind of horror movies or whatever.
I've seen this movie a bajillion times, and I'm like, dude, this movie's fucking scary.
He just did the old man yells at clouds thing.
Yeah.
With these damn kids.
I mean, like,
No, it's not that. It's just that there's so much more visual and graphic effects that there wasn't back then or whatever that maybe to them now they're so used to seeing more violent shit that it's like, it wasn't that bad.
I think the
back
stuff
when
that
I was
comes
this
out-
kid, that shit was,
I think the stuff that came out in the 80s and 90s is way scarier than the stuff that's coming out now.
Oh,
Like
I
I'm not scared of Smile or It Follows or any of that stuff, but watching this stuff back, I'm like, wow, this when I was a kid and watching this, I was scared as shit.
Oh no, like.
So Grant, if I ask you really nicely, can we do the Finding Nemo thing?
After.
No, I don't want to do the Finding Nemo. I want to watch it.
No, I got you. Yeah, no. This isn't Kindle Loves
Pixar.
Yeah, this isn't Kindle Loves Pixar. This is Kindle Hates Horror. It's kind of our shtick.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing.
Yeah, we gotta stay true to stay true to ourselves.
Cool.
I can go grab my Freddy glove off the wall and
play with his ear while
while we're watching it. Because I got it on the wall.
You said you weren't going to do that shit.
No, I'm not going to do that stuff. But I do have it. It's on the wall.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
It's awesome.
Oh no, I'm just like, wow. Let's do this.
Kendall, you can hold my hand. I'm going to be out there watching the movie with you.
Oh, but he's supposed to hold my hand.
Well, all of you can hold my hand, and if I run out of hands,
Evan, you can hold his cock.
I was going to hold that regardless of whether you had hands or not.
Well, I was just making sure somebody had it.
Do you think you're going to enjoy the movie?
We'll see.
All right.
We shall see.
I mean, this is like, when it comes to horror, this is a fucking capital C classic.
Yeah.
Capital C.
I feel like
capital
we throw that term around kind of willy nilly, but this is
This
true.
This fits
the
that.
bill. All right, Kendall, are you ready to do your
little thing?
Your little thing.
It's time for Kendall's fun back. Now batting, Mike Piazza.
I know to not turn off the sound effect, or not turn off the effect until he does that, because he does it every fucking time now. Every fucking time.
Bro, if you ever seen Kung Pao, it's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious when he does it. I've always wanted to do that.
Oh no.
Okay. In the opening scene of this movie, apparently, the bus driver is actually Robert Englund, the dude who plays Freddy.
Yep, he sure is.
That really surprised me. Yeah, I told Jamie that, and she was like, yeah, that's not a fact. Everybody knows that. I'm like,
no,
I fucking don't.
You
It's
haven't
still a fun
seen,
fact.
You haven't seen the movie, so you wouldn't have known that until you've seen the movie.
Yeah. It is still a fact, and it is fun.
Yeah. Freddy, from what I read, Freddy was the name of a bully who beat Craven up in elementary school.
Yep.
He also used that name in Last House on the Left. One of the characters in Last House on the Left is named Kruger, and he named that after his bully. Yeah.
And the hat that he had was inspired by his neighborhood drunk who scared him as a child, which I think is what you were talking about just a second ago. I forgot to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Have you ever been scratched by a cat?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It hurt. I mean, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's like,
Yeah, you're like, fuck you, dude. But then like
or if it's on accident.
For me, it's the itching afterwards.
Yeah,
where
the
it's
cat
itchy.
scratch
I'm just
fever.
like,
Well, Craven didn't want Freddy to just have a knife like Michael Myers in Halloween, so he was inspired by his fear of his own cat's claws, and late night commercials selling sets of knives. And this is how Freddy's iconic knife glove was created.
I feel like this
By
whole intro
cats.
has just basically explained how Wes Craven is a pussy about everything because he's scared of bullies. He's scared of that dude, that drunk sitting outside his house. He's scared of his cat.
Well, Wes Craven sounds like me. If I was a director
You have
of
cats.
a horror movie.
You have
Yeah,
cats.
and they fucking, I don't want them scratching me.
And think about that. You think he's like scared of stuff like that, and all he's ever done is direct horror movies.
That's
like
fucking
that's
weird.
literally all he's ever done.
So maybe you just need to direct a horror movie and you'll be over.
It's kind of like what I thought. Like when I rode these airplanes, I was like, I just need to go do it, and then after that, I'll be over it.
Yeah.
No, it got worse. As the more I rode, the worse it got.
Well, because it's a constant fear. Like you're in the middle of it.
Freddy's makeup
Yes.
took 3 hours to apply
Yep.
and take off each day, consisting of 11 different pieces applied to his face and chest. It's not real. It's not real. It's just pieces that somebody make-upped on him.
The other
not
fun.
fucking real.
This may be one of your fun facts, but also a piggybacks off of this one. There were times that he was just so fucking done with shooting that after the last cut was called, he just ripped it off himself
Yep.
without like the spirit gum remover. So he just peeled it off because he was just over it.
Look closely, guys, as you watch this movie to try and guess which effect was made by using oatmeal and
Oh, I already know.
pancake
That's
batter.
easy.
I know exactly which
I already
one it
know
is.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's toward the end of the
Don't
movie.
say, because
won't
I'm
say.
going to say after we watch
I
the
won't
movie.
say it, but I do know what it is, and it's.
I want to find it.
Okay.
Because this movie's going to scare
it's
the
a-
fuck out of
it's a-
me.
it's
And this is
I
going to be
need-
your pumpkins.
And I need to find the pancake batter.
Yeah, this is the pumpkins all over
And
again.
yeah, no offense, it's like one of the effects that I hate the most.
Also,
I don't like it.
it's the most I'm excited about something, and he's like, fuck
I
that
fucking
part.
like it. It looks weird.
There's a few effects at the end of the movie that I'm like, that's not great. But I'm just like, It's a
But
one,
back in '84, it was pretty good.
It's $1.8 million. Fuck it, you know.
Also, the sleep doctor in this movie has played another iconic role.
Yep.
Can you guess which one it was?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's Charles Fleischer. He played Roger Rabbit.
You're not. I was gonna say it after the movie.
I already knew the answer. To
I
this
already knew
question.
the answer to it. So.
It's actually in my notes for the movie.
Yeah, Charles Fleischer. He was also in a movie called Demon Knight.
Yeah. he's-
Which is a fantastic movie.
it's on the list.
That motherfucker right there. I loved that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, Roger Rabbit's in this movie.
Yeah, sure is.
Sure is.
Yeah, he should have stuck with Roger Rabbit.
This was years before Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, he hadn't even done it before. Yeah. This is like one of his, because he was like a comedian.
Yeah, I think he was a comedian
at this time. Yeah.
Well, so the scary level of this movie, what I found, and you guys have corrected me.
This is bullshit.
This film compared to, like Shane has said, this film.
Film.
Started. This
Yeah.
film.
Tell us more about that film.
It's funny because when I go to Kenton's store,
Yeah.
they call us Kenton and Country Kenton.
He does not have the same southern twang you do.
I know. I don't.
I
know where it
don't
came
want
from.
to figure that out.
I think it's from my mom. This film.
You guys have the same mom.
I know, but I like picked her shit up, I guess. This film, compared to modern scary movies, is lightly scary, is what I think.
That's such.
Fueled mostly by gory violence and some jump scares.
There are a couple.
And I was feeling so good reading that.
Did you?
And then I fucking came over here.
And you watched the trailer.
And I watched the trailer, and I talked to you guys, and now I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's I disagree.
I don't have to do this.
Yeah, I disagree with them because I've seen this movie a gajillion times.
Oh
Yeah.
and it's still when I watch it, I'm like, this movie's fucking scary.
How many
Yeah.
zeros is a gajillion?
A lot.
A lot.
Like,
It's quite a few.
This many.
Yeah. You just made a jerk off motion.
yeah. A gajillion means whacking off. Okay.
Whacking off.
Shane, where do you think that this
Been whacking in my tool.
where do you
shed.
think this movie sits on sense of the for its cultural impact. Like this movie, do you feel like this movie is like super important?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this changed horror movies. Just the way Star Wars, when it came out in '77, changed sci-fi movies forever. It was just something totally different.
Yeah.
This is what it did, just like Evan was talking about earlier, or whatever. I mean, Candyman and movies like that, or whatever.
Wishmaster doesn't happen. with
Wishmaster
that.
doesn't happen. Definitely doesn't happen.
None of them movies probably would have happened because they would have been like, "Oh, it's the '80s. Slashers are the thing. We're doing good at the box office. We don't need to switch it up." And then they come out with Wes Craven comes out with something like this that just totally blows your mind. It's a horror movie and it's awesome, but it's totally out there compared to everything else. And people were, like Evan said, other companies were like, "Wow, I worked for them. Let's come up with some shit."
Well,
Yeah.
I think this, accompanied with Scream, solidified Wes Craven as a horror icon director.
A great.
Because even with Last House on the Left and Hills Have Eyes, they're great movies, but they're great independent films. A great kind of gritty, grimy independent films. Kind of like Tobe Hooper. Like I love Tobe Hooper, but Tobe Hooper isn't in the lexicon with like Wes Craven and like John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
He's made some good movies, but not like on the level that those guys have made.
Yeah.
Other than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, boom, big one. Like maybe Poltergeist, but of course there's always also the talk about I didn't really direct that movie. That was Spielberg. Fuck you. He directed that movie. You guys can suck a dick.
Yeah.
It's just like they said the same thing about Gremlins. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, he didn't. Yeah, fuck you. Joe Dante directed that movie. Did
Did
you see that movie? That's a Joe Dante movie.
Yeah.
I like Gremlins.
That Gremlins is great.
It's a good movie.
Can we watch that?
No.
Maybe around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Also,
Evan, you've seen this movie a gajillion times. Don't you want to watch something else?
Oh, I like it.
Thank you, Evan.
All right. Do you got any more?
That was it.
That was it.
All right.
We covered all of them.
All right.
good job, Kendall.
Are we ready to go watch this movie?
Let's go watch this movie.
If you would like to watch the movie along with us, this is where you'll pause the podcast, go watch the movie, come back and join us. If you've already seen the movie and would like to just join us for the chicanery afterwards, just hang out past the music and we'll see you then. All right, we're back, and Shane has now watched. No, wait, Shane's already seen this. It's Kendall.
Man, that was so funny.
Yeah, it was so funny. Yeah, sorry.
Jesus.
They can't all be winners, kid.
Christ.
Kendall has now seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Kendall, what's your first impressions of the movie?
It was.
No impressions, do impressions of the people that were in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to do Damn, I can't think of a good one. Why would you do this? Why can't we talk about it before, and then so I can think about it?
Screw your pass.
Yeah, screw your pass.
This is God.
Yeah.
You shit.
Oh, hey Tina, watch this.
There you go.
What parts of the movie really scared you? Did you? And it didn't really seem
the first scene where not the first scene. I guess it was more into the movie, but definitely where she's fucking going up the walls and on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, I think that's probably the scariest fucking part of this movie.
That sequence. So from Tina going outside to her death is my favorite sequence in the entire movie, and it's not even close.
It's so funny how you just say that.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking awesome.
So from when she's walking around, and then when she fucking dies, my favorite.
Yeah, best. The
Speak-
best.
So fucking good.
Speaking of, here's the audio of Kendall's reaction to that scene.
That.
He never put his underwear back on.
Dude, is somebody jerking in the background?
No, that was I think Shane smacking.
Oh yeah, because it sounds like somebody's fucking waxing the carrot. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
This shit was wild.
Now, how did they do all this?
They used a rotating room twice in this movie.
Yeah. That sounds so terrible.
I know, right?
Like we were
Yeah,
just listening
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody was in the other room, not knowing what we were doing right now,
Yeah, they're like,
like what is going on?
You watching snuff films?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's it goes on for a while.
it does.
But-
Yeah, it's a very long like death scene for Tina.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
so
Well, Tina's like that. Okay, so we were talking when we did Friday the 13th. You know, we were talking about like the fact that they had Alice, who is the actual final girl, but Annie was like the fake out final girl. Well, that's what happens when they do it well.
Yeah, okay.
because Tina's the first
Because I
girl
was
you
about
see.
to just shit on all over whatever you were about to say. Because I was like, what? That,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but that
yeah,
movie
let's not even
does
get
it well
started.
because they start with Tina, and you're like, oh, this is the person we're gonna follow, and then see you
Yeah.
later.
And it's like, oh, no, not her.
Yeah, she
Actually, not her.
yeah, she's done. No, Nancy's our main character.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when it's done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, by a competent director and screenwriter and everything else.
And when they actually write the script down on something other than a napkin. It's from the very beginning, unlike Friday the 13th, you get full Freddy from the very beginning. I mean, it's within the first minute. Like, they're still doing credits when Freddy first appears on
Oh,
the
he's the
screen.
first character on screen.
Second. Tina's the first.
Uh,
Well,
Freddy's the first.
You have the while they're doing the opening scene where he's putting the
When
glove
he's
together.
building the
but you
glove.
don't see him. You just see his hands and the arms. And stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that.
he was the villain of the movie
Was the first thing you see.
The first person present.
Yeah.
That you saw.
Probably the least amount of dialogue he has in the entire franchise.
Oh my!
Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit. He becomes a lot more Looney Tunes as the series goes on. Like second, he's a little more funny. Third, I think is.
Oh, I disagree. I think 2, he's fucking scary in 2.
No, I'm not saying he's not scary. I just
No,
think
He's
they
just
added a little
more,
levity.
He's a little more vocal.
Yeah.
He's vocal, but he's not funny in 2 at all.
No.
Like he's not funny in 2 at all. Like 3's kind of when he becomes he has like his little quips
Yeah.
or whatever, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. But 2, he's actually really fucking scary. Like that pool scene, is fucking awesome.
Oh, the pool scenes. Yeah.
So good. God, 2 gets a bad rap. That movie fucking rules.
I like 2.
I like 2. I like all of them except for like 5 and maybe 6.
Great. Yeah, 6 sucks. That's Freddy's Dead. It's fucking trash.
Yeah. Freddy's Dead.
It has 2 really good songs in it because it has the Alice Cooper song, and then it has the Bruce Dickinson song.
Of course,
Welcome to my
nothing
nightmare.
beats Dream Warriors.
Well, yeah, huh?
Welcome to My Nightmare, the Alice Cooper song.
No, he does a song for that movie. Yeah, it's not.
How is
I
it
know
not
you would
that
think
song?
that.
Well,
Yeah.
Welcome to My Nightmare.
How is it not that
Well,
song?
I mean, he wrote a song for Freddy's
Specifically,
Dead.
Welcome to My Nightmare. He
Yeah.
had years before.
Yeah, and then like Bruce Dickinson wrote "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," which was the
Yeah.
song he made for he was the lead singer of Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And he does, but Alice Cooper is in Nightmare 6. Like he makes an appearance. That movie's trash.
Yeah. Freddy's Dead.
That's bad.
That is the worst. That is the worst one they've ever done. I watched Dream Child before I'll ever watch that piece of crap.
Which isn't saying much because Dream Child's not very
Well,
good.
they have 2 things. 5 and 6 have 2 things that I hate: Super Freddy and Video Game Freddy. Get fucked.
Yeah. Speaking of Freddy, how did you feel about what did you think of Freddy as the villain? Just
He was a great villain.
Yeah.
Very effective. His makeup was.
You made fun of the way you ran, though.
Yeah. He looked like one of those fucking wacky waving inflatable tube men.
yeah.
Like
It was
waving inflatable arm flailing
Yeah.
tube man. Like waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
But yeah, and then when he started running, he was like lumbering around looking like Bing Bong. Yeah, but his makeup was really good. I mean, for the time,
Yeah.
1984.
Yep.
when they actually like had to rely on, and we've talked about this
We're sluts for practical effects.
for The Thing,
Yeah.
where it was just like they had to do it.
Yeah.
There wasn't like computers like we have now to where that could carry, like we talked about Transformers. Like anybody could have fucking played in that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're standing next to a fucking Transformer.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's
Yeah.
like this, it actually had to be effective, and the effects were done by hand.
Yeah.
And they really did a good job with his
Yeah.
makeup and his stuff. They put a lot of work into it.
Yeah,
you
they
can tell.
use reference photos from like UCA Med of burn victims and stuff like that
Yeah.
to get his makeup right and stuff.
Yeah, and it's really impressive in that light.
Time.
Yeah. Shane, do you think this movie holds up? I mean, it's we just got done saying this movie is as we're recording this episode, it's 41 years old. Do you think this holds up?
Well, I mean, there's effects that you can see in it or whatever where you're just like,
There's like 3 bad ones for me.
man, yeah, that looks pretty bad now. But like I said, I mean,
Ain't nobody
was
gonna
41 years
trash the oatmeal pancake batter effect. No one trash it.
I'm raising my hand.
I don't hate that effect. It doesn't look great, but
it doesn't look great nowadays from what you watch nowadays.
Sorry, 2 years prior was The Thing, and all of the effects in The Thing are far superior to this one. Just saying. It's just, they had Rob Bottin. Rob Bottin is a fucking legend in special effects.
But they had to, that's what I'm talking about. They had to use things like oatmeal and pancake batter.
And
that's what Bottin did.
And
He microwaved bubblegum to use for the effects for.
Yeah, but the difference between the Rob Bottin bubblegum effect versus the Nightmare Bisquick and oatmeal thing is that Nancy had to step on it and had to get her feet like pull out of it.
I just wouldn't.
And
have
it had to the color had to seamlessly meld into with the
what the stairs
carpet
would look like.
Yeah, with what the carpet looked like on the stairs.
Here's my argument for that. Does it need to be in the movie?
For that,
Probably not.
What they did was they used it as a way to slow her down, so that
I know, but it looks bad. So just take it out.
I don't think it looks for you. It looks bad for me.
It looks bad now, but back when it was out, seeing it in the theaters, it was like, holy shit!
Right. I don't hate it. I still I look at this I look at this movie through nostalgia lenses, and I back when I first watched this, I loved it, and now I love it.
I love it. It's just there are certain effects that just look like shit.
Yeah,
they just don't look good. Like there's that.
And then, of course, the end scene. Or
the burn suit is fucking terrible.
Well, I mean, sorry that they have to put a guy in a suit that's going to be lit on fire.
Don't film him up close that much. That's what they did. Is they filmed him up.
It was a small room.
I know, but like just do shots of him. Just cutaway shots. Don't linger. The camera lingers on him.
And I think you were getting ready to mention the mom getting drugged through the window.
Yeah,
the mom getting drugged through the window.
Yes, that
was
effect
bad.
That one was bad.
Because you could
because it was like a totally a
like
mummy.
Somebody
a
dragging
dummy.
a rubber chicken through the
Yes, yeah.
Through
the window.
It's literally the only thing the remake did better than the original is when they did that scene. It looks cooler.
Yeah.
When Connie Britton gets dragged through the mirror.
Yeah.
It looks so much better. That's the only fucking thing that movie did better than the original.
I feel bad because Jackie O'Haley's. I
love
love Jackie O'Haley, but that
movie
it's a trash
sucks so
movie.
much.
People are in bad movies sometimes.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just
there's a lot of good people in that movie.
Yeah,
There's a
Kyle
lot-
Gallner, Rooney Mara, and
there's
Jackie O'Haley,
there's-
Connie Britton. Those are all great actors, and they're in a trash movie.
They're in a trash movie. You know, you can't really.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that. Like
No.
we love Kyle Gallner. You know,
Yeah,
we not an episode coming up here shortly. Or no, it's already out.
It will be out,
It'll
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in Jennifer's Body, we got Kyle Gallner in his goth superiority.
Yeah, he was calling in Jennifer's Body.
He was the one she took to the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and drink blood out of his stomach like she was
Good
drinking
Lord.
soup.
I actually forgot all about that.
Yeah.
How many? That's an interesting question. How many movies do you just try to wipe from your brain after the night?
That was one of them.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm like Jennifer's. I literally was sitting here going Jennifer's Body, and then I was, oh yeah,
That was last week.
That
was
motherfucker.
Well,
It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks for you, but yeah.
Ago.
I've been through a lot.
But yeah,
He's had the traumatic jet experience since then.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, the same jet experience that every other person in America uses. That's what must survive him. He thinks he's gonna die.
Stop. We've already established I'm a bitch.
Kyle Gallner, he plays Johnny Depp's character in the remake. We won't watch it.
It's not worth it,
good, bro.
It fucking
So
sucks.
bad.
The only thing I will so when they originally wrote this script, they were going to have Freddy as a child molester, and then there was a lot of stories coming out of California about like a child molestation ring or something like that. And so Wes Craven was like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Let's just make him a murderer because murdering children is apparently better.
Well, no.
But in the remake, they went ahead with the...
No, here's what I hate about the remake. And it has nothing to do with some of the effects they do because they're bad. It has nothing to do with some of the script. It's bad. It's basically... There's certain scenes in the remake that are good. The opening sequence is fucking awesome. And it could be its own short film. It's really... The one in the diner at the beginning is really, really good. But... here's the thing they hedged their bets on that I hate. So they made him a child molester in the movie, right? Mm-hmm. But they also threw these hints that he might be innocent.
Yeah.
And if they would have went full force into that and said, oh, he was innocent and they killed him, an innocent man, and now he's coming back for revenge, I'm into that. Because that's something different.
But they rope-a-dope us,
I didn't
thinking
like that.
Making us thinking he was innocent, and then finding out he was actually guilty,
That's
which
why I
we
didn't-
knew from the fucking beginning anyways.
It was the difference from like a year prior when they did the Friday remake and they did something completely different that I was into.
Yeah.
I don't love everything about the Friday remake, but there are a lot of things that I think are good. Like
Yeah.
the opening sequence of that movie fucking rips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, that's an interesting thing. Oh, what if he is innocent? That's interesting. That's an interesting take. But they said, no, we're not doing that.
And it's crazy that in 1984, he looks way better than he did in the remake when they had much more
Sophisticated makeup
or
effects.
whatever. And
When
he
did the
looks like
remake come
shit.
out?
2010. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, a full like 26 years math. Yeah, that checks out. 26 years after the original. And they somehow this movie is the makeup effects are better in this movie than it was in the
But
remake.
they do a lot of paint by numbers of doing the same shit, but it looks worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like if I did a paint by numbers and I handed it to a 6-year-old to tell me to do the exact same thing, and he just shits on the carpet on the canvas.
Like one of my favorite effects in this movie, and it's not even like anything like gore wise, is when he's coming out of the wall.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a sheet of like elastic or whatever.
Yeah, they put a
that
sheet of
he comes through, right? And he's full makeup, so it's cool that you can see the imprint.
But that was not actually Robert Englund who
No.
did that. That was the direct. Was it the director or was the director of photography?
It wasn't Craven. It would
No, it was
DP.
it was I think it was the God, was it Robert Shane? I think it was. Was that who the director?
Robert Shea.
Robert Shea.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and they do that in the remake, but it's all CGI.
Yeah,
You know?
which is
And it
looks
looked like
way
shit.
worse
It
than
looks like shit.
yeah. So
You know, sometimes CGI isn't better.
speaking of that scene, you're like, what the fuck? And then it was like, oh no. What was going through your mind right there?
Well, I don't know. I always put myself, and I'm sure everybody else does, and you put yourself in the situation that person is in.
Nancy.
And I'm just thinking about laying there in bed, being however old she was. I assume like 17 or something, and just like seeing someone come out of your fucking wall
And just kind of hovering over you.
and kind of
like that.
hovering over you and looking like one of the ghosts from Casper.
Yeah, because it kind of I wonder if the Frighteners took that
Probably,
from
yeah.
it. Yeah, because they do a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, no fucking way, dude. Like, I'm out. I'm gonna run. I'll get on a plane for that. Get the fuck away from that.
Yeah, Heather Langenkamp, I think she was like 19 when they made this movie.
She's like 19 or 20.
Yeah, she's pretty young in this movie.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp was 21.
He was 21. Yeah. They had originally written in the script they were all going to be like 15, and then they realized they were going to be doing some stuff that was like more adult, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't do that."
Okay, but the mother. Okay, I have this question.
Okay,
So the mom.
you talking about
when she's
Nancy's mom?
Yes.
Okay.
When she's explaining that who Freddy Krueger was, and she says, "Yeah, we all, a bunch of us parents got it, which got him, whatever, and burned him up in that fucking barn or whatever."
Yeah.
I'm like, was she? So this seems like it was a long time ago that she's telling this story, and this would have been when, what if she was a parent then Nancy would have been alive.
Yes.
So how the fuck does she not know that story?
They're supposed to be the kids that were all involved. Nancy, Rod,
They
Tina,
were all
and they were all
small,
really,
very
really
small.
young. Like,
And all
we're
the
talking
parents,
about
all
one
the
or
parents
two.
just they just didn't talk about it and they covered it up.
But they didn't cover how, like, they didn't say. I think it would have been better had she said you were really small, so that's why you don't remember, or something like that.
Yeah,
like
I
throw
think that's
me
more.
throw me a bone because I'm stupid.
I
and
think
I
that
can't put that together.
I think
myself.
that's more implied than actually said. You know.
But I'm sitting there thinking,
What the fuck was that?
Fuck, I don't know. I've been awake a long time. But I'm thinking like why didn't she know the story if she was around? Because the mom said a bunch of us parents, so she'd have had to have been a fucking parent.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume that. Okay, so assuming that the main four kids were really young when it happened, because the whole point of it being on Elm Street is they're all Elm Street kids.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of the whole point of the franchise.
Although I'm not entirely sure that Rod is.
No, Rod, maybe not. But like obviously Glenn and Nancy.
Yeah, because they can see each other
they
from
live
their houses.
literally across the street.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point of Freddy is he goes after Elm Street kids. Her mom says that it's like
he killed 20 kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So and I the whole thing is like they went there. Obviously, they all covered it up. And of course, like a town, it's because Springwood is supposed to be like a smaller town in Ohio, and so the smaller towns is like, well, yeah, we're not going to talk about that thing.
Yeah,
that is kind of a black mark on our nice little town.
Let's talk about the decision to say that he killed 20 kids.
It seems
the
a bit
cops
fantastical.
Didn't catch a motherfucker that. Like at 4,
Well, they did.
It's a full scale.
Well, I mean, they did,
but he killed 20 before they fucking burned him up.
Ted Bundy killed a lot of people before they caught him.
In different states, you're talking about the same fucking neighborhood.
over the course of 15 years, he killed that many people.
It was a fantastical story for sure.
Yeah, it was a very fantastical story. Well, we also don't.
There's 25 kids in the neighborhood. He got 20 of them before we caught him.
So that bothers you, but not the fact that he's a dream demon.
I don't know. It's a movie. The fucking movie.
Just wait, man. They have.
I can watch it. He's a dream.
We haven't even got.
It's like watching Game of Thrones. And like, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, there's fucking dragons here, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't know dragons weren't real.
I didn't say they weren't. I'm just saying. We've never seen a dragon, right?
I've seen a Komodo dragon.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
I've seen a Komodo.
Listen, I've never punched anybody I love, but
and them motherfuckers is scary.
You want to talk about fantastical stories? We haven't even gotten to this movie doesn't even dig into Freddy's backstory about the story of his conception. Like is that in 2 where they finally start talking about how Freddy was born, or is that later?
that's more that's a story for like 4 and 5.
Is that 4 and 5? Yeah,
it's real fucking dumb.
It's dumb, but again,
I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm not saying that even the concept of what he did is dumb.
It's kind of dumb.
But why did they have to say he killed 20 kids?
They could have said he killed 4.
Sound good.
They could have said he killed.
Don't sound good.
Listen. If you killed 20, you're a bastard. If you kill 2, you're still a fucking bastard.
Right, but I'm saying that I don't know why we're going off on this tangent. But I'm just
2 is 2 and 20 sounds like a lot.
20 sounds like a lot.
That's why.
2 dead kids sounds like a lot.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But
it's like he killed
20 sounds more.
That's what my first thought was. Oh,
How did he get away
in the neighborhood?
How did he get away with? Yeah, there's
this neighborhood.
So there's 24 kids living in this neighborhood. And somehow he managed to murk 20 of them.
Because I think if you were one of the 4 that survived, you're like, man, I'm a lucky motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean,
it took them.
Just think if they just think if they caught him 5 days later, they could have gotten all 24.
Well, I mean, like, dude, like, you know, like they're kids. He can, you know, it doesn't take that much to kill him. Like, you know what I mean?
God.
Like,
well, okay, so think about it like this. All right, so let's say that Nancy is 17 years old, and when Freddy was killing these kids, it was, we'll say, 15 years earlier. So she was 2, right? When you're 2 years old, you don't remember that there were a bunch of kids in the neighborhood that just went missing. So, but that happened in 1969. According to the movie universe, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they just suck.
So he did this in just a year's time.
Well, they don't specify.
No, they don't say how long he was doing it. It could have been a long time.
Yeah.
He could like they could have caught him at the end of his spree.
Well, yeah, I mean that would.
And he could have been.
I mean, they always catch you at the end of your spree.
That would end the spree.
I think that was. I think I fucked that up. They caught.
Once he was caught and burned to death.
Let's say that she and the other 3 Elm Street kids were born towards the end of his spree. So maybe he was killing the 20 kids over the course of
he was like
20
at 18,
years.
He was like at 18 when she was born. Like
possibly, we don't really. They never really specify the age of Fred Krueger.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, give me more of that story. 20.
See,
Jesus.
in the remake, he works at a fucking preschool,
and that's how he's able.
He's a janitor at the preschool.
There you go. There's 20 kids in one room, and he killed them all at the same time. I can fucking see that. But it's like, dude, you just said fucking 20. What's wrong with all you motherfuckers? And we're in the same neighborhood.
In the remake,
what's wrong with all you motherfuckers?
In the remake, he wasn't a murderer. He was a
molester.
He was a molester.
Molester.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will let us move past this.
This was all really good. This is all comedy gold.
I just really wanted to hit on the fact that she said 20 in the neighborhood, and wow, like. Nobody caught the motherfucker.
Yeah.
If one kid died in my neighborhood, I'm not going to sleep till I find him.
That's fair.
I won't.
That's fair.
Let it happen.
Yeah, I will say, like, one of my favorite lines in this movie, and I quote it all the time, is like, "I'm really into survival."
I'm really into
like,
survival.
Every time she says that, I fucking die.
I'm really into
dude.
survival. Yeah, I think that book was like the precursor to the anarchist cookbook that she had, because she's building bombs. Like she uncorks some shotgun shells that I'm assuming that Dad just left in the house willy nilly. Awesome. What a fucking great cop he is.
I would assume that he probably leaves guns around so they can protect themselves.
Let's talk about when he hits the tripwire.
Oh yeah,
and all that fire none of it even hit him.
No. He acted like it was.
Oh, that's a minor inconvenience.
Well, I mean, that would scare the fucking Jesus.
He's
out
a fear demon.
but in this where he's in now, he's brought into the real world. A lot of his power. What we learned from the franchise is that a lot of his power
comes from fear.
It also comes from being in the dream state.
Yeah,
he doesn't like getting pulled into the real world.
Yeah.
I always think of Freddy versus Jason when he shows up in the.
Because he tells him, he goes, "You're in my." When he's telling him,
welcome to my world, bitch.
That's where it comes from. That's Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Well,
he asked me. He was like, "Oh, where's the "Welcome to My World" bitch come from that we use in the intro?" And I was like, "Oh, I think it's from 3.
It's from Freddy versus.
It's Freddy versus Jason.
It's because he says it to Monica Keena, and then she says it back to him at the end. Yeah.
Is the Glenn kill the most famous kill in movies? You don't think so?
In movies?
Well, let's say in horror movies.
No, I don't think so.
I don't even know if I could pick that.
I can't even tell you how many documentaries about horror movies that I've seen that have shown that scene where
I don't know if it's the most
the
famous.
blood gushing.
Because I would say
if I had to pick. I'm sorry, Evan. Go ahead.
I would say one of them would be like Marion Crane from Psycho. The shower scene is one of the most iconic scenes in film.
Yeah.
I would pick for the one that I always hear even in other movies, people talking about or whatever. Definitely the head in Scanners.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
That is a
Yeah.
all-time.
I mean,
everybody knows.
They even
about
make a reference to that in Wayne's World, which is a fucking comedy. You
Yeah.
ever seen that movie? You ever seen the movie Scanner where the dude's head
when
explodes?
Garth was sitting there going,
So that's fair. The kill the
but
kill from
I mean,
Scanners.
all through my
is
years,
probably-
talking to other people about horror movies growing up or whatever. That's something that most people always.
Yeah,
think,
that's not even
that
like-
head scene at Scanners, dude, was crazy.
I mean, we can talk about that when we get to the kills because it's not even my favorite kill in the movie.
But well, I mean, tell me, you had some interesting things to say about the Glen kill when we were watching it.
Oh yeah, so we I think we well in the clip we were talking about the Tina kill, and so basically how they did that is they used like a rotating room, and so Tina is actually on the floor and they're filming it like upside down. Like and they turn it, it's actually pretty fucking neat how they do it.
Yeah.
And so they use the same effect for Glen's kill. So when the blood is coming out, they're filming it upside down, so it looks like it's going straight up.
Was the camera upside down or
The whole room was upside down. The bed
room.
was on the ceiling, and they poured the blood through the hole.
So
Yeah.
was when Johnny Depp was laying on the bed, was it upside down?
No. He gets pulled in. That's when it's right side up, and then if you notice,
There's a cut.
There's a cut, and then all the blood starts shooting out of the bed. Then that's when it's upside down. And so this is
This is Evan's fun facts.
Yeah, you live and you learn. A bunch of people almost died. Because when they started pouring out that blood, it was just buckets and buckets of blood that they were pouring out. Because they had to, that's what Wes wanted. He's like, yeah, I want this blood everywhere.
I wanted just to I wanted to be like someone opened a dam.
And then as they were pouring it, somebody was like, oh shit, there's wires down there. And Wes was like, fuck.
Cut.
And almost a couple people almost got electrocuted.
Yeah. Speaking of the Glen kill, here is Kendall reacting to it.
I didn't say much, did I?
Oh. What in the fuck?
Not as animated as I thought you were going to be during that moment, but it was still got a what the fuck out of it.
The fuck was good though, because it was like a
fuck.
But you know what? They're not going to need a stretcher. They're going to need a mop.
They're gonna need a mop.
Yeah, he
You
said the
said
thing.
and then they said the
Yeah,
thing.
it's like saying the name of the movie in the movie.
I was real excited when you did that.
Well, I couldn't remember when they said it. I was like, they're going to say it here in a second.
Well, when you said it, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, Evan. And then he said it literally right after you said it, and I was like, oh, that's why you fucking. Said
I have to ask a little bit. Was it a little creepy when all three of us were chanting the Freddy nursery rhyme at the very beginning of the movie? He was. So we were doing it. We were doing the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
I know,
we were all doing it.
I was getting my thing out of the oven or whatever, and I was doing it because he looked over at me and he's like,
Yeah, he just starts looking around at us and kind of side-eyeing us, and I was just like, I've had this shit memorized since I was a kid, and I saw this in 1986. Yeah, it's been...
Like, you assholes are making this worse for me. This is not what you're supposed to do.
We weren't... Oh, come on, we wouldn't do that.
But you did.
We did it a little bit. It's quite a bit, actually. Does this movie feel like a classic to you?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yes, you can tell it's 41 years old.
Yeah.
But like you asked Shane, I think it stands up. I mean, of all the older movies we've watched,
I hate the fact that he just called this an older movie, and this movie was made in my lifetime.
I mean, he's being true.
I know.
It's 41 years old.
I know.
yeah, it's creeping up on 50.
That's why when I get on here, I always tell everybody, I'm Gen X. I'm old.
But
I'm the old one, too.
It's like
Millennials, rise up.
Yeah, let's go. But it holds up still. I mean, it was still effective. I think it scared me worse than
Definitely worse than Friday the 13th, right?
Oh yeah, Well, we're not even gonna go there.
I mean, it had some good jump scares.
Had some good jump scares. I honestly think that I like this movie more than Halloween.
Wow.
I must say that.
I can understand why someone might say
No,
that.
I mean when it comes to like the big four, like I think when you know like Nightmare, Halloween, Friday, Texas Chainsaw, I think people can look at that and be like, I like this one more because of this. That's my favorite one. Or I like some people like I fucking love Halloween. That's my favorite one.
Well, the concept. Okay, so the concept of Halloween is pretty.
It's pretty boilerplate
I'm
slasher.
not going to. I hope I don't offend anybody, but the concept or the story is pretty elementary. You just got a kid that killed his sister, and then he grew up and became a killer.
It's a boilerplate slasher movie.
Yeah,
it's basically Friday the 13th with more interesting characters.
Right, and then Friday the 13th. We're not even going to fucking talk about that one. But this one, I mean, it took some thought. I mean, like you've got a guy that attacks people in their sleep, in their dreams. I mean, just like we were talking about, like what this came from, that story is fucking terrifying, dude. And like, if you put that with the movie we watched, I mean, that was a good horror movie. I liked that one.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna say that I wasn't scared, but it was fucking good.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when
of the older movies we watched.
When I come to the big four, like I like this movie a lot, but I would say like probably Chainsaw is my favorite of the big four, just because that movie's so fucking disgusting. Like not disgusting like gory wise. It's disgusting because it feels like it's like
it's gritty.
It's illegal that I should be watching.
It almost seems like a snuff film.
Yeah, it feels like something I found in somebody's attic.
But are we all in agreement here? Like Friday the 13th is probably the worst one.
Well, okay, if you're talking
four.
about the first movies,
Yes.
of the big four, yes, it is the worst of all four of the big four.
Well, I'm talking about just the ones I've seen, the first ones, and then we've got Halloween. Well, I'm guess I'm going.
Are you?
backwards.
Yeah. Are you doing worst to?
So would you say Texas Chainsaw Massacre is your number one?
No, of the big four, no.
Which one's your number one?
Probably this one.
Yeah, and this is your number one of
the big four.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be my number one.
I think it will
say Halloween.
I do love Halloween.
I'm like
I love Halloween.
So
Don't
I'm
get
like
me
the
wrong.
odd man out. I'm the one that likes Chainsaw.
Well, I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. So.
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not like over here like jerking it to the thought of Texas Chainsaw.
It's so fucking good.
Don't know.
Like,
I mean, I love it a lot. I mean, they're all higher up there for me or whatever, but Nightmare was just totally different.
It's different, yes, and
like you said, you've seen Friday the 13th. You've seen Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see that's how all horror movies were when I was a kid. Until Nightmare on Elm Street came.
I don't know if you listened to this week's episode. He did not like Friday the 13th. It's fine not to like it because it's not a very good movie.
Well, see, that's how I am. Is like I like Nightmare and Texas Chainsaw the best because they're like Nightmare is a slasher. Like obviously, it's like that's what it is. But I have a hard time calling Texas Chainsaw a slasher because it's just not. It's just not a slasher. It's a reverse home invasion.
Yeah.
Don't go in those people's houses and you'll be fine.
Yes.
They're not bothered. They weren't fucking with you until you went in their house. Don't fuck with weird people.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that horror movies are like, for me. Because
they're mostly a cautionary tale.
I would never go when someone. I seen the 2003 one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I stayed up like 6 hours that night doing research.
Original's better.
Well, because the whole time I watched that movie,
I don't hate the remake. I don't hate it.
Sorry.
I was thinking that actually happened to people.
That was the myth for a while.
Yeah,
because they really drove that home.
That's why that movie's so fucking good.
Is it based off of Ed Gein?
Yeah, that's one of the
one of the inspirations.
Yeah, there's like three major movies that are kind of based on Ed Gein, which is Psycho because that's like straight Ed Gein, except it's just not in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
and then Silence of the Lambs because Buffalo Bill is a lot of it's based on Ed Gein, and then Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Not
had-
a serial killer. Not a serial killer.
Nah, he killed what, 2 people?
Maybe 3 because they don't know about
Yeah,
his
about
because
his
they don't know about
brother.
his brother. he died in a field fire.
But they know for a fact that he killed 2 women.
They know he killed 2 women. His mom died of natural causes.
Yeah, he dug up the rest of them.
Yeah, everyone else he just dug him up.
Well, he's a product killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a handy guy. He just likes his arts and crafts.
He's like, I need skin, and
Yeah.
you have skin.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kill you so I can
you know
get
what
your
this
skin.
belt? You know what this belt needs? More nipples.
More nipples. I need skulls so I can use his bowls.
Yeah. How am I gonna eat my cereal without a skull? Without this skull bowl?
Yeah, my Rice Krispies just don't taste the same out of ceramic. They just don't.
He's just like a Native American, using all the parts.
Gotta have bone marrow.
Yeah. Did this movie, or specifically Freddy, did he live up to your expectations?
Yes.
You think so?
And I was happy with this one because I'm gonna go back to Friday again.
It's okay. That's the closest movie that you can compare this to. Really,
That's gonna become a bit.
He was in the movie. Like I hear about Freddy a lot. I see the claws and I see all the shit. Just like Jason, I saw the machete. I saw the mask. Didn't fucking see it in the first movie. No, it was his mom.
He was pissed when I told him. I was like, "Well, if you're looking for the mask, you don't even get to see that till 3." He was like,
it's like more than halfway through 3.
Yeah.
You just see the little toad sucker at the end, and that's it.
Toad sucker.
But I will say
That scared the fuck out of me.
I will say Jason is in 2. I will promise you that he is there.
Yeah, Scout's honor.
But this was good because it had him in there. He's a good villain, a scary villain. The concept is scary.
This is probably the scariest he ever is in the first. I think. He's pretty fucking
And the second, like you said, the second one's pretty scary.
He's pretty fucking evil in the second one.
Yeah,
But
so-
like but this is probably the scariest he is. He's pretty fucking just ruthless and just.
How do you think he stacks up with some of the other slashers that we've watched so far?
Like I say,
like we've watched Halloween. You've seen Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
You've seen Miss Voorhees, Pamela, if you're nasty.
and how we've talked about how this is different, and I think it's different in every way because he decided to build a glove with knives on it.
Yeah.
Which is
a signature weapon.
A signature weapon instead of just a Cutco 2.5.
He did the research to find out what knife Michael Myers uses.
I have seen that knife in action.
He's used it. Yeah. We talked about that whole thing.
I didn't use it, but I saw it cut someone.
Somebody almost had lost fingers.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a funny story.
I think Freddy is just different because, like, if you're comparing him to like Michael and Jason, Freddy has like a personality.
He does, yeah,
and he
he speaks.
Well, yeah. Like I said, and I think this builds like we were talking about how like this spawned like a child's play. I mean, like Chucky at the end of the day, he's a slasher villain, but he has personality. He talks.
Yeah.
He fucks with you.
It makes him a 10.
You know, like same thing with Candyman. Candyman is fucking scary because he fucks with you.
Yeah.
You know, like the other ones are just chasing after you.
Yeah.
You can get more involved in the actual character.
Yeah.
Rather than just he's the entity basically that is killing
I think
everyone.
with Michael and Jason it becomes like over time as you've watched the franchise, the lore builds.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all this other shit that they tell throughout the films that because I know you don't like Friday the 13th, but Jason Voorhees is my favorite slasher villain.
I haven't seen him.
Exactly. Well, no, you did.
Little tadpole. He didn't.
I seen the toad sucker at the end. Yeah.
The thing that scared you the most. That was Jason.
Yeah, fuck that motherfucker. if the rest of him is just like that, then I ain't watching them.
What did you think of Nancy as our final girl? You've encountered several now.
I liked her. I think they had mentioned that she was awake for like 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to get an idea. I'm going to take charge.
And that's why we love Nancy.
And
that's
I'm
why
just
she's
going
my
to go
favorite.
ahead and I'm going to try to kill this motherfucker.
Why she's up there with my final girls.
Yeah. The two top final girls for Evan is Nancy from this movie and Sydney from Scream, and the reason why is because they turn into badasses at the end and take control.
Yep.
Yeah. They actually devise a plan. We were talking about how she basically becomes dude from
Kevin
Kevin
Yeah.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Lori. Like Lori is like as a whole through the franchise, yes. But if I'm just going off of Lori from the first movie, doesn't even come close.
Yeah.
She's surviving and stuff like that, but she's not being like, you know what, fuck this, fuck that. I'm taking charge.
No, yeah,
now.
she's just
Whereas like Lori in the new movies are like, she's like a fucking badass.
All right, let's talk about our favorite kills of the movie. Guess go first, Shane. From this movie, what would be your favorite? What would be your favorite kill of the movie? Tell us why.
My favorite kill of the movie?
There's not that many in this movie. What?
I'd
4, 3. There's only 3, right? Well, 4 if you count Mom.
Depends on what timeline you're living in.
Yes.
probably have to go Tina.
Tina kill. Okay, that's respectful. Why?
Just because of the brutality of it.
Okay. Okay.
You know, with her being slammed up on the ceiling and everything, and you know, you actually get to see her getting gutted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
knives.
the cut down the
Yeah,
center.
so-
I honestly thought you were going to say something like you did when we were watching Friday. I hate to bring it up again, but when Annie gets her throat slit at the beginning, you were like, "Oh my god, that looks fucking real!" Because
that
the
looked
cuts.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to go with the Tina kill for me or whatever. Plus, I'm with Evan on that too or whatever. That whole scene or whatever. Because when we went and seen that at the theater or whatever, when he walks down the back alleyway or whatever, and his arms stretch out all the way across the side of the alleyway.
Yeah.
Me and Wesley just looked at each other and was like, "Holy shit!"
As James for Dead Meat always says, Fred Armstrong.
Fred Armstrong.
Yeah, he calls him Fred Armstrong when he comes out.
Do you know how that effect was done? Fishing rods. You know how that effect was done?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
fishing
fishing
rods.
rods,
Yeah, they just hung it from fishing rods, and they just had a couple
Oh,
guys.
I
you
love
see-
that
but
even
you do-
more.
Yeah,
But you see what I was saying,
Of
Kendall?
fucking course you do.
Of course I do.
mention fishing, and he perks up. You talk about kills, and he's like, "What else you got?"
But you see what I was saying, Kendall, about like, so here you've seen them other slasher movies, and then you get to something like that. You go see it for the first time. It just came out that opening weekend, and then you know, you have all this shit like that, the arms, him walking through prison bars.
Yeah, shit you've
just
never
all kinds of
seen
shit.
before.
You're like, what the fuck?
It was way different
Oh,
than
so
anything else
different.
you'd ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the same way because we're kind of going through that era, you know, of watching those older movies and stuff, and
Yeah.
to be living in that time and watching that movie.
Oh yeah.
That definitely would be effective.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a trip for you.
But that's my favorite Tina
If it-
kill.
Evan, your favorite kill? Let's go around the circle.
Hate to be a parrot, but it's the Tina kill.
It's Tina kill. Okay.
It's like one of my favorite sequences, and like any.
It is
horror movie.
really good.
It could be a fucking short film. It's that good.
Yeah. It's
Like it from the moment she goes outside to when she fucking dies is like one of the fucking like
It's
coolest
like-
sequence because it's just like one.
It's like 3 minutes of intensity.
Well, no, it's just one gag after another, like in the alleyway. You know, it's him like, you know, stretching his arms out, him fucking scraping up against the thing, him doing the "No, this is God," and then him
fingers.
popping out of behind the tree, and then her ripping off his face. All that shit fucking rules.
Yeah.
And he cut his fingers off.
And he cut his fingers off.
Got his fingers. Like it's just one like fucking cool thing after another, and that fucking shit rules so
Yeah.
hard, dude.
Yep.
And yeah, and the effects of how they did the kill with the upside down room, the prosthetics they used for him slashing her, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They used so much blood. It's fucking
It's a lot,
everywhere. Like it splatters up and hits Rod in the face.
It
when
looked
she-
like an actual crime scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really,
yeah,
in a lot
100%,
of the horror movies we've watched so far.
Yeah.
A lot of it just looks like it's like, okay, yeah, they died, and they, you know, there's blood everywhere. But
Yeah.
that looked like an actual crime scene.
Yeah, I fucking love that. And I also, like, if that's the first time you've seen that movie, it's like, oh, the girl that we've been following, she's dead now.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I guess I have to like someone else now.
Yeah, so I think it's the most effective scene in the entire film, for me, personally.
Kindle.
I would have to say the Johnny Depp kill was pretty good.
Yeah.
I not because of everything you're talking about, but just the creativity of it.
Yeah.
Like, who would think of him getting sucked into a fucking bed
and then erupting in a blood fountain?
Yeah, and then well, I wouldn't even say the blood fountain was my favorite part of it. It's just when he got sucked into the bed, and then his like computer or whatever.
It was his TV because he had it sitting on his lap.
Yeah, and it just went down with him.
And his record player gets drugged down with his
just like
the
a
cable.
black hole. It sucked everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually hear him screaming down in the hole.
all the way down. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's creative.
I'm piggybacking off of Kindle. I'm also the Johnny Depp kill. Yeah, the Glenn kills. For me, I love the Tina kill. I think it's awesome. But the Johnny Depp kill for me was awesome. I will give an honorable mention though to the Rod kill, not because it's incredibly brutal or bloody or like required a whole lot of, but it because it's slow and torturous.
Yeah,
So,
and then the way he had to like slowly wrap the sheets around his.
yeah. And just like Jeffrey Epstein, Rod didn't kill himself either. Who would you give your MVP to?
Oh well, I mean, it's obviously Nancy.
Should it just be all four?
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement that it's Nancy as the MVP?
Yeah.
I mean, who else could you even get?
She got gray hair because she was so stressed out. That's one of my favorite touches in this entire movie is the fact that she has that gray strand
and she keeps it throughout the rest of her appearances in the series.
With the exception of New Nightmare because she's
it's right. It's completely
super meta. And
the
movie's fucking weird, but it rules so hard.
Who would you give your LVP to? Your least valuable person. Let's start with Evan. Because he seems to have a strong opinion about this. Because he's like shaking his head.
No, I really don't. I was shaking my head because I'm like,
who would I give it to?
I don't know. Because like, I don't think that there's like a useless fucking person in this movie.
Oh, I do.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I got one.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I got two.
Sticks out like a motherfucker.
Oh, I mean, it's either like Rod or her mom. It's the only thing I can think of. So I would probably, I don't know, like her mom. Yeah, all right.
And we get it.
I get it.
That's Shane's pick. We got it.
And so like I guess her mom, but Rod's so fucking like useless. He does fucking nothing in that movie. So I'm gonna go with Rod to be different because he does. At least her mom does shit in this movie, and is like an important character.
Drinks a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. And she was hiding it, so it's clearly she is an alcoholic.
No.
But I mean, she tells her the whole thing, the whole story.
Eventually.
Like
days later, that could have saved a lot of.
What does Rod do?
No, I know. I'm just complete agreement.
I'm gonna go with Rod because he did fucking nothing except for be a red herring.
Shane, I'm wondering. I'm so curious as to what your LVP is. I have no idea.
Well, see, now I'd be right there with Evan as far as worthless part. Rod is very worthless. But if you're talking about the person I least like, it's by far her mom.
Yeah.
I told you guys that when we first started watching the movie. That's one of my things I always hated about the movie. Is like, after she already told you all the shit that was going on, what he looked like, all this stuff, fucking be honest with her and tell her what the fuck happened. Don't sit there and wait for fucking 5 or 6 days and then be like, oh, well, his name's Fred Kruger and a whole bunch of us gathered together and just, torched him alive.
Yeah. Now that you're on the verge of psychotic break, let me tell you the story. I've got
and then tell you that you're crazy.
Yeah. I've got two. I am also on the fence. I'm also on board with Shane's saying mom is worthless. Every time I saw that movie, I was just like, if you just told her, just tell her the story. The other one that I have to, and she's not in the movie for very long anyway, so that's why I'm kind of like, is Tina's mom. The fact that she's such a nothing character in this movie, but she also tells her you need to clip those nails and stop with those dreams. Okay, yeah, that's how dreams work.
Yeah, she's just she's just such a nothing character.
She's such a nothing character.
She's in the movie for a minute.
Yeah,
it would be like me saying like oh, I hate the dude she was fucking.
Yeah,
he's in the movie for as long as she is.
Well, and that's why I said that's why I said I'm with Shane on the mom, but I also give an honorable mention to Tina's mom because she did exactly nothing to even protect. Like she barely checked on Tina.
Yeah, I think like with Nancy's mom, I'm just like, she serves more of a purpose than like Rod does. So like
she does.
That's why I agreed with you on the worthless part.
And that's kind of where I come from on that.
Yeah.
Unless you do something so fucking bad and shit like that that I have to fucking hate you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if I'm watching You're Next, I have a clear person that I am saying I fucking hate.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
it's
movie.
the same guy we all
yeah,
hate.
it's the same guy everybody hates.
Kendall, who's your least valuable person?
I would say my LVP is her dad.
Whoa.
Because
Where you went out you came out of left field.
I completely understand that.
that motherfucker didn't act.
Maybe I have John Saxon. I want to suck his dick like glasses on, but
No, okay. So when all the shit started going down, he literally just was like, "Oh, you just need to get some sleep, whatever."
He's very dismissive.
Take her, very dismissive the whole time. And then when she was making her plan after homeboy died, Johnny Depp's character, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn.
After Glenn died, she asked him, "Hey,
Come break down the door."
Come break down the door. I'm gonna do this." And he promised her. He said he'd be there, and he fucking wasn't.
Well,
but
and not
to be
only
fair,
that, but
like
he's
the deputy, like
he
should have
stuck-
gotten him earlier.
Yeah.
he stuck Enos out there and said, "Hey, go tell us when something funny's happening." And then he proceeds to watch 3 funny things happen. And then he's
No,
like,
but he told his daughter he would do something, and he really didn't.
Yeah, he
So,
really.
it
It wasn't until Enos got back in there.
Yeah, but that's difficult too because he's also like working a crime scene too,
Yeah.
which is important.
Still.
But then don't tell her you're gonna do it.
I know, but like, I know.
Fuck him.
Yeah. See, this is Kendall wearing dad hat.
But you would have see like when we watch 3, you're gonna have a completely different tune about John Saxon.
Yeah.
Okay, but
John Saxon rules.
He's talking about it in this movie. So.
And
Yeah, in this movie though, yeah.
that part actually
love that
got me because, like, I'm like, if I tell
You're a dad.
any of my girls,
Yeah, that you're
I'm
gonna do something,
and especially if they've witnessed murders and fucking all this stuff, it doesn't
One
matter.
of them. One of the murders was her boyfriend
Yeah, and you saw the blood dripping out of the ceiling, all this shit
across
like,
the street.
And she asks you to do something. You also say you're going to do it.
You better fucking do it.
I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that just hit me so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck this dude.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
He can go straight to Freddy Krueger.
Where would you rank this on your scarometer? 1 to 10.
It was scarier than some
Uh-huh.
we've watched.
Was it scarier than what you were anticipating
No.
based off of
No,
what the internet?
I made the movie worse in my
Okay.
head than it really was. It's probably like a 3
It's a 3
or 4. 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay.
It's not. It hadn't hit.
It's one of the
halfway.
It's one of the higher ones.
Evan, where do we rank this on the horror greatness scale? Now, this one's probably for me. This is probably going to be pretty high because of just like Friday, because of the franchise that follows it.
Again, I think we're just gonna continue to rank it on that. Like I said, when I'm doing that, I'm of 2 minds about it. Where I'm like importance and how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously Friday was like importance was
way high,
and the goodness of it was
way
way
low.
low. So it got like a middling grade.
Yeah, so we did greatness of 9, quality of movie 2. So it meets in the middle, and
it
it was
ends
like
up being like a 6.
It was like a 6.
Whereas this is really high, so it's like on the same scale of that as like a 9. Because I don't know if I'm ever gonna do like a 10 when it comes to that. Because I don't know if there's if like Friday and like fucking Nightmare aren't a 10, I don't know what the fuck is.
No, this, maybe Scream.
Yeah, that's the only possibility, but that might just be my bias. Yeah, like as in how important it is, it's a 9 for sure. How good it is, it's like a fucking 7 or an 8.
Yeah, it's still really good. So,
so I mean, I'd probably give this like an 8, 8.5.
I can 100% respect that. Shane, can you respect that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I thought you'd be probably in agreement
because there's like nothing that I would probably give like a 10 to.
It's going to be hard to find a 10.
It'd have to be like
it's going to have to be a movie that's going to
as far as horror movie wise.
Yeah,
Freddy Krueger is just a pop culture icon. Like everybody knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah.
it's the same thing with like Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees, like people know Jason, or they at least know the fucking hockey mask. They know that's part of
and the
him,
machete.
And like so, yeah. When it comes to importance, that's a big deal.
All right. Well, that was A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. Kendall, how you feeling? You gonna sleep all right tonight?
I think I'll be fine.
You gonna?
I've been up a really long time, so I guess I'll just die. I guess I'll just die in my sleep.
Yeah, just hopefully you don't pass
If a
out.
motherfucker's in there, I guess I'll just try running.
Yeah. Well, just turn your back on him. Take away the power.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will take away the power.
But you can't do that in the dream. That doesn't work.
It has to be in the real world.
You have to pull them out and then do that.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah, you just do the Kevin McAllister.
there's another Kevin McAllister reference.
But remember, not in the dream world.
All right. Follow us on Twitter at KHH Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Kendall Hates Horror. Follow us on TikTok at Kendall Hates Horror. And follow us on Blue Sky at Kendall Hates Horror. Shane, you got any last words?
Everyone have a good one.
Evan?
Potatoes.
Okay. Kendall.
If you're scared of flying on an airplane, you should be.
That's not the last part I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to make this any better for you. If you have a legitimate fear, you have to face it. Number one, don't let this not make you get on an airplane. But good Lord, you're not going to have a good time.
But I will say, you can't always get what you want.
Jesus Christ, here we go.
But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need.
I have found that.
God. Now we're quoting Rolling Stones. I think you actually owe Mick Jagger $1.
Well, no, it goes to Keith Richards to preserve him.
Yeah. That's he just rubs himself with money. That's why he lives so long. Yeah. My final words are, as always, if you see a Nazi, punch a Nazi. They are easily identifiable by the red hats that they wear. And anybody who is following us on YouTube, here is your clue for next week. If you think you know what movie we're going to watch based off this clue, leave a comment on YouTube and tell us what you think it is. And if you get it right, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. You lucky 7 bastards, you. All right, here's your clue.
1 of 7.
Well, if they don't get that, I just don't know what we're doing here. Jesus Christ.
That could be.
I didn't say I was making it hard. I just said I was gonna I just want someone to fucking join us again next week.
I think we just picked up Dracula.
See ya.
Adios.